All right, it looks like we're live. Hello, everybody. Thank you for stopping by and welcome to the MGTOW Academy Show live. Currently is Friday, April 5th, 2019. Uh, right now, the local time is 10:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we're going to be covering a couple stories tonight. Uh, and as you can tell by the thumbnail and by the title of this live show, we're going to be going over Albert Wilson. It's something that's been going on for a while now. However, uh, there's been some recent developments that came out just hours ago, and we're going to be covering that tonight, along with a couple of other things. It was at Tyrannosaur King. Thank you for stopping by. He said, had a feeling some false rape allegation might show. Well, you're exactly right. That's exactly what's happening tonight. So we're going to go ahead and let me fix this stuff real quick, get this configured. That's my bad. I was having some problems with the microphone earlier, so I was kind of in a rush, but I will go ahead and get that thing fixed if I can. All right, let's see. Voting. All right, working out fine. All right, we'll go ahead and get the screen share feature back on. We'll turn it over to the application window. So let's see, share. There we go. And we'll hide that. All right, looks like we're good. So we're gonna go ahead and start. I'm gonna wait for some people to come on in. We just started, so it'll take a while for folks to come on into the show. But I wanted to cover something that I did see earlier on Reddit. Right, I like to just read whatever's on there, whatever type of junk on, whatever junk's on there, and I did stumble across this, and I found this quite disturbing. Um, and I wanted to give a little bit of an analysis on this. So let's go ahead and read this. It's from our relationship advice, and it's titled My wife's mother tickles our son inappropriately, and my wife defends her. Help. Hi, everyone. I am a 35 male married to a 27-year-old female. We have a 2-year-old son, and ever since I can remember, my wife's mother had tickled him, usually in places, but also in places where it shouldn't be okay to tickle someone. I recently read that women can actually be child molesters too, but it's often overlooked because people give them more leeway and ignore all the signs. And when I thought about it, I realized that's exactly what described this scenario. If I were her father, if this were her father or my own father, then this would definitely not be tolerated ever. But the fact that it's my mother in law, who is mother to my wife, makes it complicated. I recently called out my wife on it for the ninth time, and she came back with a "You have a sick mind to think that my mom would ever molest a child. In fact, you're the deranged one because you're sexualizing it." I actually felt guilty because I felt like maybe I was the one viewing it that way. Maybe it's my fault for seeing something that's not there. And so, let me turn the screen share back on. Okay, sorry. So this thing was like really just when I saw it was it really just like it just made me want to cover this. Like I had to share this because this type of stuff really sickens me. Okay. I really have noticed that whenever guys have anything sexual going on, it can be kind of, you know, they seem to be overlooked, especially when it's a female perpetrator. Uh, and I believe I have an article that will be covering that later on. But the thing is that the idea there's this idea that guys are open to anything. You know what I mean? Like whenever girls slap them on the butt or whenever they get touched, no one goes like, "Oh, you're a guy, you should accept it." You know what I mean? I mean that just it really pisses me off. You know what I mean? And like totally different scenario, but that's not the so let me see if I can find I might be able to find it. I'm not sure. There was an article that found that male sexual assault victims, they were like, there was like a study that came, I think it was on slate.com. They found that an overwhelming, like the statistics were much higher than thought. So male, what is it called? Sexual assault statistics. Okay, now let me see if I can find the new one. Is there a new one on here? There should be a new one. 1 in 6 men have experienced sexual abuse or assault. Yeah, that's true. Trying to find the new article though. I believe was it on Slate? When I was reading this, the lady who wrote this, she said she couldn't even believe it. You know what I mean? Like she couldn't even believe the statistics herself. So I mean that should really say something. And I would like more. I would like for more stuff to be looked. I would like for more research to be put into this, right? Because people say, like people say, oh, it doesn't happen much to guys, and it's not that common. But when this study came out, there it is. I found it. It's from 2014. When this study came out, everyone was so shocked. So I wanted to go ahead and share that. And then when I saw this post, I was like, you know what? That reminds me of that exact article. See this? When men are raped, a new study reveals that men are often the victims of sexual assault, and women are often the perpetrators. Last year, the National Crime Victimization Survey turned up a remarkable statistic. In asking 40,000 households about rape and sexual violence, the survey uncovered that 38% of incidents were against men. The numbers seemed so high that it prompted researcher Laura Stempel to call the Bureau of Justice Statistics to see if it maybe had made a mistake or changed its terminology. After all, in years past, men had accounted for somewhere between 5 and 14% of rape and sexual violence victims. But it wasn't a mistake, officials told her, although they couldn't explain the rise beyond guessing that maybe it has something to do with the publicity surrounding former football coach Jerry Sandusky in the Penn State sex abuse scandal. Stemple, who works with the Health and Human Rights Project at UCLA, has often wondered whether incidents of sexual violence against men were underreported. Now, I'm not an expert on this. I haven't done like years worth of research on this field, right? But I can say with a fair amount of certainty that yes, I do feel like there is lots of underreporting that goes on because there's a different stigma, around guys who are sexually assaulted, right? Now, is it true that it happens more to women? Yes, it does happen to them more. However, the difference is that when it happens to them, they have larger support, and the overall societal perception on it is different. And due to a lot of, cultural junk and a lot of other things, societal perception, it's much more difficult for guys to, come out with this type of stuff and to report this type of stuff because apparently, we're supposed to like it, right? Because we're guys, we're hormone monsters who can't control ourselves, apparently, right? I mean, seriously, I've had several instances personally where things have happened to me, and if we reverse the genders, it would be a totally different situation, right? Hey, what's up, KJBS Scorpio 86? How are you? Thank you for coming down. Hope you're enjoying your Friday, by the way. Hold on a second. So as I was saying, I've had several instances myself where if we reverse the genders, it would be a totally different story. Like one time I was in, this was back in 8th grade. I was talking to one of my friends. We were like sitting, he was sitting at his table at the cafeteria, and I was like reaching over to try to talk to him. This girl came up behind me, and she slapped me on the butt like a couple of times, and I'm like, really, like seriously. And the interesting thing is though that's when I started to like kind of ignore chicks and kind of like focus more on myself. Cause like, and by the way, this girl just so happened to be one of the girls I used to feed attention to. And I was like, like one of those, one of those attention feeder guys, orbiters, whatever you want to call them, back in 6th grade. But I mean, seriously though, like that's just like messed up. Like no one batted an eye, except my friend, of course. But I mean, seriously though, if it were the reverse, if we reverse the roles, if it were me slapping her butt, like everyone would say, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, man, don't do that." But when she does it, hey, it's okay. It don't matter because hey, MGTOW Academy, you're supposed to like it. You're a man, right? You're supposed to like it. So I'm hoping more work gets put into this. I really do. All right, so KJB Scorpio 86 added in the live chat. Janice Fiamengo, an anti-feminist, recently made a video where towards the end she put on a collage of men who were falsely accused of sexual assault. Man, it really put it into perspective. Wanted to, so you'll write more. Okay, I'll be sure to look at that video. Thank you for mentioning that, KJB Scorpio 86. Then Cedar Forest says, yep, that happened to me too. Happened to you too. Yeah, slap on the ass. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm not traumatized by it. I'm not trying to play the victim card. I'm not trying to say, boo hoo, I lost so many nights of sleep. I have PTSD. I don't lose sleep over a slap on the butt. I'm just saying, though, it makes me extremely uncomfortable, right? It's one of those situations where you're just super uncomfortable, right? Like if you ever have like an awkward situation happen, like a socially awkward thing, you usually don't get PTSD from it, or you don't need counseling, but it's still something that kind of sticks with you, right? It's that type of a thing, and it's unwarranted, it's uncalled for, and unnecessary, right? So I mean, I'm just saying though, we got to call that type of stuff out more, right? We really need to. Uh, so I don't want to go over this whole article. This is just something I wanted to kind of add in there. So if you guys are interested in taking a look into this, it's a really good read. I've read it a couple times because it came back out in 2014. But it's a really good read. It's from Slate.com. When Men Are Raped. So be sure to check that out if you want to. Yeah, exactly. If the roles were reversed. But now that we have some people in here, I'd like to get to the primary topic of tonight's live show. As you can tell by the title of tonight's live show, and if you were in here in the beginning, a little thumbnail or whatever that I'll be adding in later on, we're going to be covering a development on a case, sexual assault case, that is, or an accusation. So this is from bet.com. In this case, it's been going on for a while now. And there's some ideas. Some people are saying, hey, maybe there's some racial stuff going on. And you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if race played a role in it, right? So we'll go over this case. We'll talk about it. You guys can share thoughts with me in the live chat right now. So let's go ahead and read this. It's from bet.com. A black former college student faces 12 years in prison for, within air quotations, raping a girl he never had sex with. All right, so this came out a couple hours ago. Read this, published 5 hours ago. All right, so a former student at the University of Kansas has been sentenced to 12 years in prison and a lifetime of probation for a September 2016 incident involving another underage student. Albert N. Wilson attended a bar with a friend and met a girl who was visiting a family member who attended KU. The two were both under 21 at the time and intoxicated when they left the bar to go back to Wilson's apartment. According to the Lawrence Journal World, Wilson was 20 years old and the woman was 17. Both parties agreed that they met at a popular college spot, Jayhawk Cafe, while heading to the dance floor. Wilson allegedly lifted up the girl's skirt and touched her while they kissed. Subsequently, Wilson invited the girl back to his place, which was near the bar. Neither party reportedly asked each other's ages. Hey, Prune Juice Power, how are you? Sorry, I wasn't paying attention to the live chat. Second, some good friend PGP. By the way, if you guys haven't yet done so, please do subscribe to Prune Juice Power. He produces other. He is also a MGTOW content producer. So be sure to subscribe to him if you haven't already. And really, man, thanks for sticking around. It wouldn't be possible with you guys. It's J-Boy. Oh, okay. I know who you are. How are you, buddy? How are you? I know who you are now. I know who you are. But yeah, no problem. So where were we? Oh yeah, we were right here. So the victim claimed that Wilson took her back to his place where he raped her. While he admits in engaging in other sexual acts, Wilson claims the two never had sexual intercourse. And remember, this will be critical later on in the article. The Kansas Bureau of Investigation scientists testified that Wilson's DNA was found on the girl's chest via Wilson's saliva when he kissed her, but no DNA from seminal fluid was found. No DNA from seminal fluid was found. Let me read that again in case you don't yet get it. No DNA from seminal fluid was found. Swabs were collected from the girl the day after the incident from a nurse at a local hospital. During the trial, Wilson, who was black, initially said he didn't remember all the details of the night, but he implied that the police were against him from the get-go because of his race. I don't know how to explain this, but I come from a different background than you, ma'am, said Wilson and Judge Sally Picorni, who is white. I just felt like the police were against me at that point. After a 6-hour deliberation, the all-white jury convicted Wilson of rape. Wilson was subsequently given the reported lowest end of what's called for by Kansas sentencing guidelines for rape. National attention grew after the verdict was handed out. Questions started to arise about the young woman's story, particularly because surveillance footage shows the two were only at Wilson's apartment for 5 minutes before returning to the bar, and Twitter was actually in an uproar. Let's see what some people have to say about this down below. Let's see what Twitter has to say. All right, so look at this tweet. Imagine this is 2009. A 13-year-old Albert Wilson's beginning of 7th grade school year with his assigned time reading his time To Kill a Mockingbird. I remember that book. And as he's reading, he stops and thanks God as he thinks to himself, I'll never have to face the racism that existed in 1936. Well, that's a good point. Yeah. Look at all these tweets. Look at this one. This makes me sick. I'm all for women getting justice, but this girl blatantly lied. This man is innocent. If you don't know this story, but want some background information, look at this website. The Kansas system has failed this guy and he needs justice. And we will actually be looking at that for you, albertwilson.com. It's the next tower we'll be taking a look at. But I mean, this is really crazy. So this is the bet.com article about it. Now we're going to be taking a look at the actual, free albertwilson.com or the website that is, and they provide much more in-depth information about the case. And and for those of you who aren't aware of this has been going on for a while now. The actual incident took back a couple of years ago, but just now is when the sentencing has actually occurred, or this was given, right? So this goes all the way back to late 2016. Okay, so Family Day weekend in Lawrence, Kansas is a yearly tradition where students, families, and friends come together to celebrate the start of the new school year. Thousands of people 57 p.m. According to the affidavit obtained from the court, Mr. Wilson and his friend are seen on camera entering the bar at the same time. Advertised as a 21 and older bar, the Hawk has gained an infamous reputation for allowing the entry of underage kids using fake IDs. This is what Mr. Wilson is seen doing to gain an entry into the bar. On the other end of the bar, according to the testimony of Danielle Carroll, a witness that worked at the Hawk and has seen a video, the accuser, her cousin, and him walk into the Hawk without getting carded or stopped. All this occurs under the management of Sam Amrain, also another witness in this case. As the night goes on, Mr. Wilson is enjoying his night like any other student in the local bar. He did not know that an interaction that has sparked up with the girl in the line to the Boom Boom room would change his life forever. The accuser and her cousin meet Albert and his friend. The accuser pulls his arm as they head into the dance room, but Mr. Wilson hesitates in order to ensure his friend was coming in as well. This was seen in video and heard during the testimony presented to the court. And here we have these excerpts that are found from the Lawrence Journal. Now, there is an actual full, super long article on this, but I found that this was a lot more informative. It's the exact same thing from that website. It's just condensed and much shorter. We don't need to cover the whole entire thing. We're just covering the major bullet points. All right. So this stuff just reiterates what we just talked about. Look at this. They were in the Boom Boom room where, as you know from the video, pretty much anything goes, Lowry said. She's kissing him and he's kissing her back. Other cameras, look at this. As seen on video, Mr. Wilson and the accuser are seen leaving the bar together and walking down 14th Street hand in hand. This is at 12:15 a.m. other cameras showed the pair walking hand in hand around the corner and down the 14th Street hill towards Wilson's house, 2 blocks away. While the girl previously testified that she was drunkenly stumbled, Wilson said she stumbled on a sidewalk crack on the steep hill. When asked if she was okay, he said that she jumped on him, wrapping her arms and legs around him and continuing to kiss him. While consent was never verbalized, Wilson said he believed they were headed to his place to have sex and that she was on board. The girl testified that she told Wilson no, but he testified that she never said that. And according to Google Maps, it takes approximately 4 to 5 minutes to reach Mr. Wilson's home when leaving the Hawk, depending on the conditions of the area. According to the affidavit, Mr. Wilson's friend received a call from Mr. Wilson at 12:17 a.m. Okay, so from the bar, it takes about 45 minutes to get to the house. Now it's 12:20 a.m., right? So using the assumption from Google Maps, Mr. Wilson and the accuser would have reached his house at 12:20 a.m. All right. And according to the affidavit, Mr. Wilson's friend calls Mr. Wilson back at 12:21 a.m. Now it's 12:30 a.m. And according to the affidavit, around approximately 12:30 a.m. in the morning of September 11th, 2016, Mr. Wilson calls his friend. All right. So Mr. Wilson is seen walking back with the accuser, then meeting up with his friend and leaving. Okay. Using the assumption for Google Maps, Mr. Wilson and the accuser would have left us around 12:25 a.m. and make it back around 12:30 a.m. All right. This is the critical part that so for all of you who are watching this right now, this is the critical part that I want you all to pay attention to. All right. I want you to pay attention to this part. So Wilson said he got a where you at text and a missed call from his friend at the bar and decided to go see what he needed. When he told the girl he was leaving, she gave him a mad look and they both walked back towards the bar, Wilson said. Does that seem a little bit suspicious to you? Let's go back and analyze that again. So he got a text from his buddy who's still at the bar, right? And then he said, "Hey, you know what? Let's not do this. Let's go back to the bar, right?" And then she gave him this mad look. That's a little bit suspicious. Like when I saw that, something just said, "I don't know about that." Looks a little bit suspicious, don't you think? So what is this? That's in like September, right? This is September 11, 2016. Now we're in October of 2016. In October 2016, a 17-year-old reported to Lawrence police that she had been raped by a man she met at a bar near the University of Kansas campus. The teen told police that she was very drunk when the man, whose name she wasn't sure of, isolated her from her friend, walked her to a nearby home, raped her, and then walked back to the bar. November 2016. On November 18, 2016, police found Wilson at home and took him to the police station for an interview. When police showed him surveillance footage of the bar, Wilson said it was him in the pictures. That report and a chain of police work that followed eventually led to the arrest of Albert N. Wilson, 21, of Lawrence, according to the affidavit prepared by police in support of his arrest. Wilson was charged on October 11th in Douglas County District Court with 1 count of rape, which is a felony. So let's run on the assumption that this is a false accusation. I'm pretty sure that I would be leaning towards the idea that this is a false accusation, right? So let's say that this is a false accusation. The reason that I really do not like, the reason I hate false accusations, just like any sensible person would, is because that I really feel as if the effects are irreversible. Okay, like sure, you could have yourself proved innocent and all that type of stuff, but what if you're going for a job or whatever, and then they say, okay, all right, Mr. Wilson, you got a nice resume. You're actually you seem like a pretty good person. You fit our resume well. You fit what you have what we want, and he actually does. We'll cover that later. He's a very, by the looks of it, he's a very hardworking young man. So then they see that he was falsely accused, that is, of rape and a felony, and then he won't be seen the same way, even though he's innocent. You don't look at someone the same way. You can't just shake that off. And that's the really damaging part about false accusations. And the media spotlight is on you, right? The media spotlight's on you 24/7 now. Okay, even if like there's no such thing that idea of innocent until proven guilty has been tossed out the window. Adios, because guess what? It's gone. You can prove yourself innocent. And then there you can go look it up. I believe there was this football player or someone. He was falsely accused of assaults or robbery, something like that. And he was jailed for 20 years. He was jailed for 20 years, and he was eventually, because of DNA testing or something like that, he was proven innocent 20 years after being imprisoned. And he was a football player. He could have had a career in the NFL, gotten lots of money, had a great career, but because of the false accusation, his career was thrown away, and he can no longer play in the NFL because he's just not in his prime age anymore. It's been 20 years, all that because of a false accusation, and I believe he was rewarded some money, but I mean, you just can't change that. Like once it's done, it's done. Here are the mugshots of Albert Wilson after he was charged. So let's fast forward to November 2017. On Tuesday, following Wilson's preliminary hearing, Judge Sally Picorni ordered him bound over for trial on 2 counts of rape. The original count from the allegation that he raped a teen at his home, and the additional count is the allegation that he lifted her skirt and assaulted her inside the bar without consent. Evidence showed the teen was intoxicated enough that she was unable to consent, and such inability would have been apparent to Wilson, the judge ruled. The teen repeatedly said no to Wilson, the judge said. Lowry began to cross examine the accuser. It was after his cross examination and asking the accuser if force was directly used that Mr. Wilson's charge was changed from 1 count to 2 counts after Amy McGowan requested a short recess. In asking the judge to dismiss the charges against his client, Lowry said there's no evidence that she was forced to do this. Lowry said the teen continued to stay with Wilson. Whoever, geez, I'm sorry, I can't pronounce that name. Spirit Digializoli, whoever that is, was hired by the district attorney's office and said he interviewed the woman and people she was very close with in early 2018. He diagnosed her with PTSD, a very with very serious symptoms that is persist even at the time of his evaluation, more than a year after the incident. She had stellar grades in school, but he said that was, she went into an unhealthy state because she was coping with schoolwork and that her relationships with family, friends, mental health was deteriorating. He said that she had recurring nightmares, could not function socially, had sleep problems, panic attacks, and other problems. All right. Now, this is where people argue about the whole race thing, right? January 7th, 2000. If that would be true, right? So he went up against an all white jury. So that probably may possibly have some effect on how the trial actually plays out, right? So it's the same appointed attorney. This is the Douglas County District Attorney's Office. A jury of 9 women and 3 men, plus 1 female alternate chosen at the end of the day. All right. So let's take a look at this, right? The woman who is now 20 and in Lawrence on the week he kissed her, then assaulted her, she said. Wilson then asked the woman if he wanted to come to his place and spend the night. She refused, telling him she needed to find her cousin, but Wilson persisted and convinced her to come with him outside to call her cousin, she said. But the woman said that instead of stopping outside the bar, Wilson led to his house, which was a few blocks away. She said she was too drunk to realize what was going interesting. So it noted that she laughed in court when describing actually walking to the apartment, but then she started crying or whatever, or was struggling to not cry. That is when talking about what actually happened, right? When he was leading her to the room. So I'm not going to be pointing fingers. I'm not saying she's lying or anything. I'm not making any definitive statements. I don't have any conclusions. I don't have all the facts, right? This is still kind of a new thing unfolding. I want to wait a bit, right? That's what I like to do. I don't like to just say things or whatever. I like to wait a bit, let this stuff hold out. But I think it's a little bit weird how, she was laughing in court. I don't know about you guys. If you guys have any thoughts on that, share within the live chat. But I thought that was a little bit weird. Don't know about you guys. So this is January 9, 2019. And then there it is. Wilson said he got that text from his friend at the bar and that, he decided to go. And when he told the girl that he was leaving, she gave him a mad look. And that was one of the things that I found suspicious. Regret sometimes it's like resentment, anger, like maybe you're angry at the guy. The guy did something you don't like and you're mad at him. So what do? You accuse him, you falsely accuse him of sexual assault. And this could be what's going on here. We don't know, but when this was mentioned, it seemed a little suspicious, don't you think? And the fact that when they did all that testing, all that type of stuff, they found that prosecutor Amy McGowan attacked this in particular, asking why Wilson didn't just ignore his buddy or text back that he was with a girl to leave him alone. That's what you all want us to believe that happened, she said. Yes, Wilson responded. All right. McGowan also reiterated that Wilson had watched the woman with whom he had no prior history and saying, in tears, saying that he raped her. McGowan I didn't rape her. The Kansas Bureau of Investigation scientists testified that while Wilson's DNA was found on the girl's chest where he kissed her, no seminal fluid or DNA was found on her clothing or on a vaginal swab. That is a really, really big selling point right there. No seminal fluid or DNA was found. That's one of the main reasons that this seemed really suspicious to me. You know what I mean? Like I've seen so many cases where I'm like, oh my god, yeah, it's a false accusation. I knew it, but then there's something that says, it might actually be legit. You know what I mean? But when I saw that thing up here about there being no DNA found, that was a major selling. This dude got sentenced for 12. And then here, McGowan contended that Wilson deliberately targeted the obviously intoxicated girl at the bar, forced her to be tractable, took advantage of her, leading her to the house for sex, and then running away. Um, And then she said that the girl who is emotional, diagnosed with PTSD, uh, believes that Wilson's story was not corroborated by evidence. All right. Okay. Well, she's saying that his story is not I mean, lots of people are saying that's outrageous because it is. The rest of the article, they mention the stuff that we covered in the previous article and all that type of stuff. So this is something I wanted to go over. Who is Albert Woodson? Let's check out who Albert Wilson is. All right, let's check out this guy. See what he is. All right, loving, caring leader, and that's the thing. You know, when you look at who he is, like as a person, like what he actually was, you wouldn't think that he would do it, right? I mean, that doesn't mean he's innocent, but it's one of those. It just makes me want to lean more towards the side that says, "Hey, he seems innocent." Yeah, you know what I mean. Read this. As his life would have it, he would grow up to become a man of great character, which is a reflection of the effort and intention his mom and older brother put into raising him. A son, a brother, and an uncle. Albert was passionate about making an impact in the world and made it his goal to attend college with the hopes of breaking the cycle many black families face today. He used his love for football as a tool to fuel his dream as one day becoming a journalist, a dream that led him to Coffeyville Community College before moving on to the KU. A dream that was fueled by his hope to use the power of stories to reshape the narrative of the Black identity in America through telling empathetic and authentic stories of the people that came from communities like this. A dream that is now at risk of being taken away for something he did not do. And that is Albert Wilson. Well, let's see what he's up against. Oh, yeah, I saw this video. Okay, this is something I wanted to go over. Amy McGowan, right? So, look, the assistant director, I'm sorry, assistant district, assistant Amy McGowan. She's the prosecutor. According to the Lawrence Journal, McGowan has been removed from previous cases after the Kansas Supreme Court faulted her for errors. That's interesting. Douglas County prosecutor removed from cases for errors and trials. How about that? Hmm. That seems a bit suspicious too. Don't you think? Because it made improper comments during a sentence hearing about child exploitation. And he removed McGowan from her caseload of major felony sex crime cases. Trying to be a charging attorney. So look at this. Douglas County District Attorney Charles Branson said Thursday that he had removed McGowan from her caseload of major felony sex crime cases. How about that? Because she also made improper comments during a child exploitation case hearing. All right. All right. So there's that. And then there's the whole racial factor that people keep talking about. And it's probably true because they said that he had like an all. He's being sentenced 12 years. That's a long time. Like 12, like imagine where you were 12 years ago. That's like a long time ago, right? I mean, like he's, okay, so 21. So he's in his 20s. He's gonna be like in his around mid 30s. Um, by the time he's like done with the 12 years. So, I mean, that's a long time. So that seems really, really suspicious. Guys, share thoughts with me on this incident in the live chat on Twitter. My Twitter handle is at all caps MGTOW Academy. It's all caps MGTOW followed by Academy. The first name Academy is capitalized. Or email them to me at mgtowacademy.media@gmail.com. But I mean, I don't know, man. That seemed really suspicious. She was mad at him. The DNA tests it didn't exactly correlate. with her perspective on it because they didn't find any seminal fluids or whatever. So that was a bit suspicious. I'm not gonna lie there. So that's gonna wrap up that our outlets, medias that I mentioned to you guys. Which one do I want to do next? There's the Harvard one, the gender wage gap, the porn making young men. Let's see. I want to talk about that. That's a little bit of a more controversial type of thing. Something I can relate to more personally. So let's go ahead and take this. Let's analyze this, right? And I'm gonna kind of like take a. I want to produce a video on this in the future because it's not. I'm not trying to say that there is one and only way to look at this. But it would be more of a thing where I would offer my thoughts on it, basically, like offer my perspective on it. And like, if you were to ask me about porn, I would say that even if you're MGTOW, you shouldn't watch it. Even if you're MGTOW, you shouldn't watch it. All right. Now, I personally, I would not. I encourage that you don't jack off at all. I know it sounds weird. I know it sounds crazy, and all that type of stuff. But from my personal experience, I'm a whole lot more productive, a whole lot more energetic. Whenever I don't whenever I don't jerk off, I'm a whole lot more productive. And that's kind of the whole goal of in moderation. I don't feel the same, right? Like whenever I'm working out, for example, I get more of a pump after I'm done. I put in a little bit of extra energy whenever I'm not jerking it. I do my homework on like of course I do my homework on time, but I'm actually able to not procrastinate. Like if I have homework, I'm like, all right, yo, I got homework, I'm gonna do it. Like I actually do it. Like there's no procrastinating, no nothing. I get straight to it. That's my take on it. Like, I'll be honest with you guys. Like I know that um because like a lot of us here are like not date or not get married, no long-term relationships or even monk mode. I understand that maybe some of us would have to channel ways of release, but recently I've been looking into the whole concept of sexual transmutation, and you guys may not agree with me, and that's all right. It's all right. There's nothing wrong with that. But from what I've experienced, I feel like that's the better route because it makes you a better person. I started taking cold showers recently. I started doing that every morning when I take a shower. Instead of like having a hot shower, I step in, have it slightly cold, and as I continue to press on, I make the water colder and colder and colder. The idea is that you challenge yourself. Okay, if you don't challenge yourself, you're not going to change. Okay, like if you do, let's say, 5 push-ups a day, or every other day you do 5 push-ups, and if you only do 5 push-ups, you're not going to change. You're not going to grow. That's how you grow. Your triceps, your chest, your shoulders, they're not going to change if you only do 5 push-ups every single day or every other day. Okay, when you challenge yourself academically, mentally, physically, that is how you grow and that's how you change, right? And I've been getting into that mentality of constantly challenging myself. Hey, how about instead of actually hitting the snooze button on my alarm, I actually wake up at 5:10 or 5 o'clock in the morning? And how about I actually get to doing those push-ups? Actually, a personal goal of mine that I'm setting right now is to do 100 push-ups nonstop because I'm trying to join the weightlifting team next year. And I'll be honest with you guys, my push-ups, my triceps, they're not in their best shape. They're there. I promise you, they're there. You may need a microscope to see it, but they're there, right? But I need to work on it. So I've made it a goal to do 100 push-ups. So there's like a website called 100pushups.com or something like that. They give you like a training routine to follow. And I've been doing it. So I'm doing it every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, right? So there's an example right there. Constantly challenging yourself to improve yourself, be it physically, be it mentally, academically. Academically, I'm trying to get into doing like more preparation for the SAT and all type of junk. Because I need to prepare for the PERT test for dual enrollment because I might do that. Academically, I wanted to do more academics. Like I want to be an SGA to prepare for the Air Force Academy if I can get in there. I gotta be constantly challenging myself. Okay, now is the time to spring past everyone my age, to spring past my peers. Now is the time to take advantage of the opportunities I got. Right. And from what I've seen in the past 3 years, porn jerking off, it's made me extremely unproductive, and really, it's only hindered my growth. It's only hindered me as a person. It's never really had any true benefits. I'll be honest with you. It never really had any true benefits to me. It's all just short term gratification. Everything short term gratification. You go onto your phone, you open up social media, you go on YouTube, everything's right there. It's all short term. It's right there. It's all short term. Same thing with porn. It just makes you up. It just makes you this like monster. I don't know. Like, maybe you haven't had a bad experience like me, but it definitely, doesn't make you more productive. Let's put it that way. So let's read this. There's an ad campaign adorning the tunnels of the London Underground, bearing the slogan, Ed is dead, next to a photograph of a wholesome looking man in his prime. Don't worry, it says in a small writing beneath. Ed's not a guy, it's a guy thing. It's short for erectile dysfunction. The posters are promoting a new brand of sildenafil, whatever that is, commonly known as Viagra. See, this is why I'm not going into the medicine field. Can't pronounce that crap. Whatever that thingy is that starts with an S, it's an alternative to Viagra, which we are supposed to think is slaying the problem, but as it stands for, erectile dysfunction, or ED, is far from dead. Viagra's core market used to be older men in poor health, but according to a number of studies and surveys, between 14 and 35% of young men experience erectile dysfunction, and it's crazy but true, right? That's what Mary Sharp of the Reward Foundation says, an educational charity focusing on love, sex, and the internet. Until 2002, the incidence of men under 40 with erectile dysfunction was around 2 or 3%. But since 2008, when free streaming high definition porn became so readily available, it has steadily risen. And that's true. To date, the main contributions are highlighted by academic studies of ED are poor health, the effects of weight, for instance, and high alcohol, tobacco, or drug use, and mental health issues, including stress, anxiety, exhaustion, and importantly, depression. I wouldn't say depression, but I definitely dealt with those three things when I was like constantly jerking it and addicted for the past a couple of years. So, you know, that's one thing we got to take into account right there, right? Can't go your own way if you're addicted to something, right? Remember, we're constantly improving, all right? That means fighting addictions, being more productive. So you got to cut that porn out here. And that's exactly what this article is covering. But a body of opinion is emerging that frequent exposure to pornography could also be a factor. Uh, Proponents believe clinical and anecdotal evidence is mounting that links to compulsive pornography use and erectile dysfunction. The specific term is PIED, porn-induced erectile dysfunction. It's actually mentioned down there, right? Tens of thousands of young men share their struggles to stop using pornography. The progression from soft porn to hardcore and barriers they face in forming real-life romantic and sexual relationships. And look, I get it. We're guys. We're doing our own thing. We're not engaging in relationships. We're focusing on ourselves. I understand that we may not be focusing on relationships. That's a big, focus point on this whole issue is that it tears down, uh, your relationships and all that type of stuff. But regardless, it does go to show how badly it can affect you. All right, like even though I'm not in a relationship, I still got a lot. You feel like everything is so vibrant and everything is so colorful. You know what I mean? So I mean, it's not just no nut or no fap, whatever. Semen retention that's enabling that. Of course, I do other things that have been helping out, like exercising more, mindfulness, meditation. Uh, there's other things, true, but I feel as if it has a big effect, you know, on my life. And of course, the whole point of doing the whole MGTOW Academy thing is to share the whole MGTOW idea with everyone as much as I can, so that everybody can take what I have learned and all type of stuff. I'm not an expert. I'm not like some monk or whatever on top of a mountain who's like 80 years old and full of wisdom. I wish, but I'm not. But with the amount of knowledge and wisdom I have gotten, even if it's not much, it has helped me immensely. And I'm hoping that I can take this stuff, give it to others, and that they can take it and improve their lives, right? And especially considering that we are lacking male role models and all type of stuff. As a young hormone raged, young guy in modern society, things can be really really confusing as to where to go. You know what I mean? That's the whole point of doing it. So, oh yeah. So as Produce Power said in the live chat, he said, "Okay, so the answer is simple. It's like anything else. If you're desensitized, give it up for a while, and you're back in the game. Avoiding sexualized media and environments is advisable." Yes, that's true. That's true. You are desensitized because you get the dopamine release. There have been lots of studies that have been conducted, and they have shown that porn, it has like very similar dopamine release rates to drugs. Like I'm talking cocaine, methamphetamine, all those serious drugs that people are addicted to. They have very similar dopamine release rates. And what happens with dopamine, as you all know, when it goes up, you crave more. You crave something that you can no longer achieve, and you just become dull. It's enjoying even if you go outside. It's all about the small things. Like if I'm walking outside, if I feel the wind, that makes me happy. I smile if it's windy outside. Call me crazy, but I do because I'm happy because it's windy outside. Like, how's that not cool? It's wind. I mean, it keeps me cool. I like that stuff. Maybe it's a little bit cloudy outside, but the sun's out, so it looks cool. Or there's an airplane flying overhead, or I see a dog and I get to pet it. That makes me really happy, by the way. Or I get to see one of my friends, or I do good in school, which actually has happened. By the way, today's been a really wonderful day. I got a 118 right now. My grade in geometry is 118, not 100, 118%. I got 118 in geometry, 113 in science honors, and I got 100 on my geometry test. I don't even know how I did that, but dude, whatever it is, it's working. All right. You get a lot of mental clarity too. I've noticed that you get mental clarity. Um, my voice, it gets a little bit deeper. It does help combat fat loss. I know that because like there's like a hormone that when you jerk off, it like goes away or whatever, and fat loss or fat buildup increases in the stomach region for guys. There's like a whole ton of benefits out there for just not nutting. You know what I mean? And it's hard. It is. It really is. Whenever you're like so used to something, it's really difficult, and you never know how hooked onto something that you are until it's too late. You know what I mean? Like the first time it's controlling me, and that was like a really big wake up call. So I'm thankful I stopped it before it got any worse. But I'm just saying though, like it's really scary, and I do not want any other of my MGTOW brothers to go down the same path that I went down. Am I saying that you gotta stop jerking off and masturbating? No, I recommend it, but you don't have to, right? Especially as a teenager, that's definitely not easy, right? But I'm just saying though, yeah, I've found several benefits from challenging myself constantly. From attaining, I've found several benefits. All it's ever done is made me a better person. All right. Same thing with MGTOW. All that MGTOW has ever done is make me a better person. That's the reason I'm here. That's the reason I've been doing it for about two years? No, 1.5 years. Because I started in 2017, middle 2017. So I've been at it for a while now. I obviously am not giving up anytime soon. So I'm only doing it in the interest of helping those of you who are watching this right now, those of you who will be listening to the archive of this. Okay, like I know we live in a very sexualized world. It's definitely not easy to deal with. I mean, seriously, like it's everywhere. The whole concept of sex selling. It's true. All right, all that erotic stuff you see in advertisements. It's really annoying. And when you have an addiction like this, it's definitely not easy to shake off. It really shows you how messed up things are. But I mean, I'm just saying though, the more you challenge yourself, the better of a person you become. So it's a process. It can take years, who knows? But you know what? At least I'm doing something. All right. Because remember, you may not get that far, but as long as you do something, that's all that matters. What I have figured out though, since like following the MGTOW principles, is that at least if you're trying, you're gonna get somewhere. Like some days I don't exercise the way I want it to be. So like my routine is that I do on what on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays I do triceps, chest, and I do legs. So that's quads, calves, and hamstrings. And then on Tuesdays and Thursdays I do obliques, upper, middle, lower abs. It's all split up into different days, including Sunday, and I do biceps because I have a tricep imbalance I'm trying to fix. So I'm not always able to do what I want to do. Like maybe one day I'm not able to do forearms, or I can't do my hit cardio, or I can't do legs, or I forget to do chest. I forget, or I'm doing homework, or I'm busy, or I'm outside, or I took a nap and I overslept. Because you know what? It's called life, and it happens. You do things like that. You slip up. I mean, no matter how long you've been exercising, no matter how long you've been doing whatever it may be, you slip up. It happens. Some days I don't even meditate. I forget. I got in the habit of doing it. Sometimes I don't even do it. You know, sometimes I procrastinate on my homework. I do it the next day, which I've actually gotten really good at. But sometimes I may slip up and say, "Hey, I forgot to do my homework," and it happens. But the thing is that as long as you're doing something, it's what matters. Okay, doing one exercise routine is better than doing nothing. Okay. Same thing with the whole fapping thing or jerking off. Okay. Even if you can only, you know, go do a no fap for say 3 days, that's a whole lot better than doing nothing. If you were to say, you know what, I can't do it. I can't even go on 3 days. What's the point? What's the point? I mean, the point is that you're still improving, right? You still did it for 3 days. That's 72 hours, I believe, that you didn't do it. That's all right. That's something. You're a whole lot more farther down the road than someone who's not doing anything, right? I mean, you're doing something, and that's what counts. Okay, something is always better than nothing. Okay, it always is. I promise you that. And the whole idea is that you want to be constantly challenging yourself to make yourself a better person. And that is how you make change. I'm telling you, it really is. And this, I feel, the whole pornography thing and the whole jerking off thing, I feel like that is a really critical issue that young men are facing, you know, in this new era that we live in. There's a website called Fight the New Drug. Um, and I recommend that you guys check it out. I'm not going to go over it right now because there's some other stuff I'd like to cover in regards to this stuff. But it really does highlight um, how the effects that it has on you. Here, let's look up porn effects on the brain. Let's look this up. Yeah, look at this. In 2014, a Cambridge University study found that pornography triggers brain activity in sex addicts in the same way drugs trigger drug addicts. The younger the user, the greater the neural response to porn, potentially for the long term. And remember, every day, everything is getting more and more and more and more and more sexualized. So, if I recall correctly, the average age for a young boy being exposed to pornography is about 11 or 12. For me, it was like when I was like 9 or 10. I was in fifth grade when I first discovered it because a friend showed it to me. And you know what? I mean, what can you do? You're a little curious kid and you see this thing. What do you expect? And it's an evil thing. I sound like a conspiracy theorist, but it is. I mean, you got to ask yourself, like, hey, like let's say, let's take a look at Pornhub. Pornhub is this huge website. It's owned by the biggest porn company out there. And Pornhub, along with two other companies, are owned by that big corporation, right? And they're like the YouTube of porn, pretty much, and they're huge. Like they got all these videos. There are always new videos being added and uploaded, and there's all these advertisements, but it's also free. Like, how did they do that? You know what I mean? And then when you look into it, it's really sickening. Like, think about it, because they're taking advantage of addiction. They're taking advantage of addiction just like cigarette companies do. You ever wonder why cigarette companies, you know why they target younger users? Yeah, because they can get them addicted. If they can target younger users, that's all they need to do. Because once you're hooked onto a cigarette, you're. I mean, it don't matter. You don't need an advertiser. You're gonna buy it because you're addicted. Same thing with porn. All this targeted stuff towards younger men, it'll make them an early addict later on. And when the longer that they're an addict, the more money they make. Because remember, this ad's everywhere. If you pause the video, there's an ad. If you scroll up, there's an ad. If you scroll down, there's an ad. There's an ad to the side. There's an ad to the sidebar. Ad before the comments. There's an ad everywhere because it makes money. That's the really sickening part about it. You know what I mean? You know, there are some guys out there who are they have like a rage or whatever for circumcision because it really messed them up. Now I'm circumcised too, but I don't have rage. But I have that exact same rage, but for porn because it's done the exact same. It's done a very similar thing to me. You know what I mean? Like I'm really mad at how it's messed me up. I mean, I'm really a lot better now, but I'm just saying though, I'm mad at it. I really am, and I will do whatever I can within my own power to stop others from becoming victims of it. Look at this: problems of addiction. Exposure to sexually pornographic material is correlated with concentration problems. I just mentioned that. I feel I have a lot more mental clarity whenever I retain low motivation, depression, social anxiety, negative self perceptions in terms of physical appearance and sexual functioning, erectile dysfunction. There it is right there. And there it is, the dopamine release things. Yeah, pornography is like a drug. Yes, that's true. That's so true. I mean, dude, if I could go back in time and tell myself to just avoid this, I would save so much. I really would have. Look, I get that like we're guys going our own ways and all that type of stuff, but this stuff is really harming us. It truly is. It truly is. I understand that, it's not easy to, be single at the same time, just holding all this sexual release, but okay. It's not like you have any other better options. You know what I mean? Because the price of sex is really expensive, and a lot of us think it's not worth it. I'll be honest with you, I don't really think it's worth it that much. It's probably not. It really isn't. And then if you watch porn, well, dude, you got yourself an addiction, which you do not want because you're trying to live life and enjoy it, not become an addict to all these big boy corporations that are trying to make you their advertisement slave. They want to make you they want to make you a slave to them. So that way you come back every single day, maybe even 5 times a day, just to maybe click on an ad accidentally or to watch their ad and make money for their network websites and all that type of stuff. It's a really horrible, evil thing. And then you get addicted to you become a slave to them. They control you, not literally, but they technically do because you're addicted, right? You have no other choice. And then they make you an unproductive person. So let's say that your MGTOW say, hey man, I've always wanted to be I've always wanted to, I don't know, give me an example, guys. I've always wanted to be a truck driver. I'm just thinking of an example, thinking of a friend of mine. He's a close friend of mine and he's a truck driver. He's actually listened to one of my episodes and reached out to me, so we talk pretty frequently. So I'm talking to you right now. You know who you are. So let's say you want to be a truck driver, right? And you're addicted to porn. How are you going to get there? Because remember, I just showed you guys, a side effect of long-term exposure to pornography is loss of motivation, right? So if you're unmotivated, if you're tired, if you're mentally drained, if you can't focus, you're not going to be able to achieve your dreams, my friend. You can't even do anything. Believe me, you feel like a zombie when you're doing it. You feel like a zombie. You can't even control things. It is insane how sickening that this is. I mean, it really is a drug. It should be treated like a drug because it is a drug. All right. So guys, I think that's going to uh I guess that's going to conclude the live show. So right now it's about 11:50 Eastern Standard Time, PM Eastern Standard Time. So I will be heading off to bed in just a bit. Probably go write some stuff for the book I'm doing, meditate a bit, and I'll probably go to bed after that. But I did hope you guys enjoyed the live show. I hope you guys learned something of value from my little rant that I had. Sorry if I went on for a little bit too long and bored you guys, but I hope you did pick up some or learn something valuable from it. Right, that's the whole goal of doing that's the whole goal of setting this up. So I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Remember that you can always follow me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is at all caps MGTOW, followed by Academy. The first A in Academy is capitalized. Be sure to drop an email to mgtowacademy.media@gmail.com if you want to do a collaboration. If you have a question, I'll always be happy to reach out to you and answer. I'm also open to DMs on Twitter. We have also passed 1,000 subscribers, so thank you very much for helping me get there. Goodbye, Cedar Forest. Thank you for stopping by. But yeah, like I said, we just passed 1,000 subscribers. Would not be possible without you guys. So thank you so much for that. I would have never imagined that I would pass 1,000 subscribers, but dude, we did it. We're here. So yeah, that's it. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I got some stuff planned just to kind of kick back, relax. I got to finish up some boring ass school assignments, so gotta get that taken care of. And that's it. So guys, until next time, remember that it's a very dangerous world out there. So be sure to keep taking your daily doses of red pills and to stay safe. Everybody, this is MGTOW Academy signing off.